It's the internet, you're busy, and I am going to take you through this review of the MyArcade NES Classic wireless controller. This is the wireless controller. It comes in a couple configurations. You can get it with just the wireless controller and the little dongle here. Or you can get it like with the dongle, the wireless controller, and an extension cable for the included NES Classic controller that Nintendo built into the system that has a 2-inch long cable. So you have a couple options. It ranges in price there. This is pretty affordable, I think. Let's look up the price right now. What is it? Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's going to range from like $25, like 20 to 35 bucks, depending where you buy it from. And I think it's just excellent. It's actually, so I've previously reviewed the 8-bit Do or 8-bit Do wireless controller, and I think that the MyArcade is actually a little bit better, specifically because of the way the buttons work. I think that it's more accurate, especially when you're going on diagonals on the D-pad here. But let's kind of cover it real quick, and then we'll maybe play some games here. This is your D-pad. This is the A and B buttons and the X and Y, and it has shoulder buttons as well. It actually has 4 shoulder buttons. So what this means is you can use this, I think, as a classic controller with your Wii U or something like that, or your Wii. But what this really means is that this is a fully functioning wireless controller for your NES Remix, or for your NES Classic Edition. You can play any of these games, no problem. It also has a home button, as well as start and select. This home button, and we'll take a look at the screen over here that I'm looking at. It can take you back home at any time. Now, you could do that, I think, with any controller by pressing down and select, I think. Can't remember off the top of my head, but that's the home button, like, quick select option on most other controllers. But I prefer having the actual dedicated home button, so I don't have to worry about accidentally going home. So that's the basics of the controller. Now, let's jump into some Super Mario Brothers. And I'll just kind of explain why I like this. So, having the D button, the D-pad, the shoulder buttons and the extra X and Y buttons, that's great. But what happens is I can actually now, instead of doing the B and Y or B and A for the to go fast and the throw fireballs and then the jump, I could just do X and A, which is actually the way my thumb naturally aligns with the controller. So instead of trying to do like this, I'm like this, and I find that much more comfortable. Now, if you'd rather jump with the top button, you could do Y and B, but I prefer to have the jump on the bottom, run on the top, and so I can do that with this controller, and I think that's phenomenal. So we are playing some video games now, and I think it just feels so good compared to most other wireless controllers. It even compares really nicely to the original NES controller. Now, I don't think this will work with your NES because the dongle is specifically made for the NES Classic. But I believe it is Bluetooth, so maybe if you connect it to other Bluetooth devices, I think that could work. Now, I'm only using it with the NES Classic. That's what I want it for, and I messed that one up. Oh no. I'm getting old now. I'm forgetting everything about this game. But yeah, so what I think is that this is going to be good for almost anyone who is trying to get an NES Classic and really hates that short cord. Now, if you want to go 2 players, this can support that. You'd have to get a second one. You plug in the second dongle, and then you can have 2 players with wireless controllers. Or you could get the configuration with the extension cable, and then have one person use the extended standard NES Classic controller, and one person use the wireless controller. And I think, unlike a lot of other situations, you're not going to be fighting over who gets which controller, because I think they're both going to feel really good in that situation. I think this one is equally as good as the one that Nintendo included. And it's been encouraging me to play more NES Classic games just because it does feel so good. So let's go ahead and get through the end of this level. Let's try maybe one more game, and then we'll wrap up the video. I guess I'll show you some more B-roll footage of me showing off these devices. I think it's, it looks cool. It doesn't look as great as I think as a standard NES controller, but it is bulkier and it has this ridge on the back that makes it more comfortable to hold. All right, let's, you know, I said I was going to change games, actually. So I hit the home button. Now I'm back here. I love that. So let's go with, what is a good game to test out the diagonals? Might just be Zelda. Yeah, let's go with Zelda. So, whoop, I hit the home button accidentally. So, yeah, that still happens. So, yeah, so I think in other games I was finding that, oh yeah, you don't go diagonal in this one. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. I was finding that I would either go down, left, or right, or up, and when I would try to do a diagonal, it felt like the controller wasn't responding appropriately. But now with this one, I feel like and even, you know, that even happened when I was trying to go from like down, like up to left. I'd have to really like take my thumb off the D-pad to get it to respond. But in this one, I could just slide, and it's just working how I expect it to. Like, I mean, I've used an NES controller for hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of hours in my life, and I know how it should feel. And the standard NES Classic Edition controller feels that way. So does this one, but not all wireless controllers do. I got to the point where like with that 8-bit DOE, I was connecting my DualShock 4 to that instead because the D-pad on that felt better. So yeah, highly recommend this. It's, you know, it's relatively inexpensive, affordable. I think if you are getting an NES Classic Edition and you need wireless controllers because you're going to have it connected to your TV, you know, more than 10 feet away, this is it. This is the one to go with. So, thanks for watching, guys. Jeff Grubb, GamesBeat.com. I'll see you all pretty soon in the next video. Until then, you know, Star Wars hoodie.